Hello, hello. How's everybody doing tonight? We are back. It is just after 11 o'clock. We jumped on a little bit earlier and finished off a standard event that we had started. And when we started today, we were 2-2. We won one, and then we lost our third, so we finished up at 3-3. So we are getting ready to jump into a brand new event. I do think that I am going to try tomorrow moving my camera up to the upper right hand corner of the screen from the lower right hand corner of the screen. I thought about briefly doing that before tonight's stream, but I don't think that I'm going to. I think we're just going to jump in and play, and that'll be something we'll play with in the next day or two. So without further ado, I'm going to jump in. The last couple of days before I've gotten started, I have gone over the deck list that we're playing. Because we are so new, we are going to continue to do that, but we're not going to go into as much detail. I'm going to show the deck very quickly for those of you who have not been here before, but if you want more information or a little bit more about my thoughts on the deck in some more detail, go watch one of the VODs from the last couple of days, or go check it out on YouTube, and it'll be just the first 5 to 10 minutes of one of those videos, and you can get a better idea of what's going on. I'm still trying to figure out kind of a line of, you know, as a smaller streamer without as many repeat viewers, I'm sure, as, you know, large content creators, how much content I want to rehash on a nightly basis, and how much I just want to, you know, spend less time doing that and more time gaming. So I'll pull it up real quick, just kind of let you take a look at it. And yeah, so if you have any questions about the deck, I think maybe what I'll do is I'll just show the deck list. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in chat if you're here with me, or post me a comment on YouTube if you're watching it there, and I'd be happy to let you know my thoughts on a certain card selection or omission, either way. Or like I said, you know, chances are I've adjusted in a previous video if you want to go back and find that. I will, as I continue to get better. I played a little bit yesterday and today with making highlights for the Twitch content, and maybe that's something that I'll, you know, make a highlight and save it off of me specifically talking about it, like, you know, a good deck tech, and then I'll just use that throughout the time that I play a deck, and I'll just refer back to that. And then on YouTube, I'll eventually figure out how to, you know, break the content off and make thumbnails and all that kind of stuff, but I haven't really played with that yet. So anyways, while I was running my mouth, here's the deck list. Hopefully you got a good look at that, and like I said, if you have any questions, just let me know. But barring that, we're going to go ahead and jump in. A little bit off-center tonight. There we go. Alright. Interesting hand. It does have turn 2 Ranger class. Honestly, it could be turn 2 Florahedron, turn 3 Ranger class and level, and then turn 4 Ren. That does use our mana pretty efficiently every turn. The only wasted mana is the mana on turn 1. It's not the best curve ever, but I've not really ever tried a hand like this where I play an Accelerator on 2 and then not a traditional 3-drop or a Chariot, but actually ramping into the Rangers class and level in the same turn. We've talked about it a couple times, but I don't think it's actually played out that way because we've drawn better stuff, or the matchup we've had options in our hand and decided to go a different way. So I think this time, since it's our only path right now, unless we draw something different, I'm interested in trying this and seeing how it plays out. What is this? Okay. Okay, so this is either like a black-green control-y kind of deck, or more likely this is an elf deck. If it is an elf deck, I'm a little bit worried about that, I don't know, the elf, well, the black, I believe it's 4 mana, everything gets -3/-3 except for cards of a certain creature type. That is traditionally pretty good, I think, against all our early stuff, all our cats, all our wolves, our Florahedron in this case. Well, I don't expect that elves wouldn't play anything on turns 1 or 2 though, so unclear. Now, we drew the Mammoth last turn and I decided to just stay the course. But and I think this was still probably better than the Mammoth, but the question now is it really better to drop the class and level it without being able to attack this turn to gain the token anyways? Is that really better than playing Troll plus just wasting the 1 mana on Haven? And I think the answer to that is probably no, but we're going to do it anyways because, like I said, science. So and honestly, I could just go up to level 3 next turn if I don't draw land, and play the Mammoth tapped and then go for Ren next turn. Okay. Turn 3 Florahedron is interesting. I don't know what's going on over here. It is a strange configuration of cards that I don't really have a feel for yet of what the deck that he's playing is trying to do. I'm not in a rush to play too much to the board, I think, because I'm still kind of fearful about sweepers. It's somewhat less likely now that he's played the Florahedron, but I'm still not 100% sure. I think I'm happy just to go up to level 3, attack for 2, and play my Mammoth tapped so I can play Ren next turn. Attack for 3, I guess, more accurately. Okay, that would have been a reason not to go up to level 3. It's funny because most of the time when I see the Snow Mana base and I see a green mana, that's the first card I think of is what they're splashing green for. But just based on the lands he played, there were so many more things that I was thinking about that Binding the Old Gods was not forefront in my mind. It probably should have been, but that's okay. We wasted some mana, but we're going to be able to play a Ren now, and the Binding obviously is not able to kill the Ren because he played it on the Chariot, so we'll take our wins where we get them. We're not going to forget to make our Tree Folk. Pro plays. We're going to go ahead and attack with the Florahedron as well if he wants to trade at this point. I'm not trying to ramp into anything else at this point, so if he would like to trade, I would happily accept. I'm assuming he's going for bigger and better things. I don't know that for sure, though. So, this is the second time. Oh, okay. Well, he has a second Binding, but I have a second Ren, so there. This is the second time that I've seen a deck play Binding in black-green specifically, but really in any 2 to 3 color green deck and not have a Snow Duel to fetch. I think if you're playing the Binding of the Old Gods and you're playing a multicolor deck, which presumably you're playing at least black-green, right? That it's worth it to probably have one of the Snow Duel to fetch out just in case you're needing double black for any reason. I don't know. That's just my idea. He also played a green-blue Scryland, so not sure exactly what's going on there. We're not going to show him the second Ren before we attack, but we are giving away that we do have something large to play by the fact that we are not attacking with the Faceless Haven as well. Honestly, we could have attacked with the Faceless Haven just to present lethal to make sure that he jumped this Florahedron, but I was reasonably sure he was not interested in taking the 5 off of Ren, so, or off the Tree Folk. I kind of use them synonymously.
The will of the woods is made manifest.
I'm interested to see what his blue splash is for. It's possible that it's just a 2-color deck and he just has the blue in here because he wants to play a green mana that also scries a card. Okay, Florahedron and his own Wrenn. His Tree Folk are obviously larger than mine. This is interesting because we're kind of on the other side of the fence. We normally are the one with the larger but lesser tree army, and now we are the smaller but more plentiful tree army. So we'll see how it plays out from the other side of the field. Am I interested in going up in Wrenn and then just replacing him? Probably not, because I have enough to do with my mana this turn anyways. Now the question is, do I want to attack and allow him to eat a Tree Folk? And I think the answer to that is probably yes. As a matter of fact, 4/7, I can put him to 1 if I just attack with the Faceless Haven. And I think I am interested in doing that. I'm going to go up with the Wrenn first, see if we can hit another Faceless Haven or something. Nope, just a Snow-Covered Forest. So there is a possibility that he eats the Snow-Covered or the Faceless Haven, but that would be okay. That would just mean that I wouldn't be incentivized to spend mana on it again next turn. Yes, I'll attack you. We are ignoring your Wrenn. I am still going to be able to play the Pack Leader, so that's exciting. He's at 1. He's still going to have way less blockers than I have attackers. So I think we're still in pretty good shape. He has a Death Touching 8/8, just in case. Oh, Death Touching 9/9. And this is a, okay, so he has a Snow Duel, but it is a non-green Snow Duel. Yeah, if I was guessing, I would say that that was a card availability thing. Well, no, as a matter of fact, are the Snow Duels... I know you get the Snow Mana for free. Do you get the Snow Duels for free? I don't remember. I kind of felt like I did not have to. I just have had all of these Snow Duels that I've ever wanted, but maybe they just come in the starter decks. Do a lot of the Snow Duels come in the starter decks? That's a possibility. Maybe they're not quote-unquote free, but you get most of them as part of that or something. I don't know. Well, either way, we're 1-0. I never did get to see what the blue was for in that deck. Like I said, it could have just been that he didn't mind a tapped source, and he had a green land that could also scry if he used that. So, but no, he did play the blue-black Snow Duel, so he was definitely playing blue for something. I'm not sure. I guess we'll never know until we play them again. Let's see. It's kind of one of those weird Blizzard Brawl hands that we had got stuck in a few days ago. But I think this is still a keep. We can play the Mammoth on 1. If we play the Mammoth on 1, we really have to play the Lair on 2. And then we're very far away from ever Blizzard Brawling. But I think that's the world we're living in. The other option is we could just mulligan this. I don't think that it would be terrible to mulligan this hand. Our opponent is going first. Maybe we are supposed to mulligan this. This is pretty much a dead card, and we're playing a 2 and then not really playing anything on turn 3. Yeah, I think I am actually going to mulligan this. I changed my mind. Okay, this is not really better. Blizzard Brawl is still awkward, but I guess hopefully we'll eventually get there. It won't be till turn 4 though, no matter what. And if we don't hit a 3rd Snow-Covered Forest pretty much right away, we're not really going to be doing much on turn 3 as well. I think this is better than a random 5, so I'm going to keep, but I'm not happy with this hand, especially on this draw. We are going to throw back one of the Blizzard Brawls, and then we'll see. We definitely will play one Snow-Covered Forest on turn 1 unless we draw one of either Mammoth or Tangled Florahedron, and we draw Mammoth. Okay. Honestly, I still think I'm leading on Snow-Covered, but with the intention of playing Hydra on turn 2. Turn 3, I believe if we don't get there on another Snow-Covered Forest, I will just play the Mammoth as a creature and hope to draw either another forest or a 4-drop to play after that. Plains, but not snow-covered. Okay. Is he a cleric? He is a human peasant. He's a human peasant. I'm not sure. It is a good card. I think that if I was playing a white, you know, not very aggressive deck, like more of a white mid-rangey deck, this would be a card that I would be interested in. It's basically like a Elvish Visionary, except in exchange for not being able to draw you action ever, you get to always know that you will draw land. So I think the trade-off is there, and it might be worth it, especially because later in the game the Coven is just additional upside, right? Turn it into a 3/3 lifelinker after you're out of other relevant plays is definitely more upside than Visionary has late game. So, but it will never draw you into action, so that's a definite downside. Let's see what else he's doing. Portable Hole on the token. No, it is non-land permanent, so he's definitely going to target the class. Okay, good. I don't really have any way to remove that, I don't believe, anymore. We're not playing any of the werewolves anymore. So my Rangers class is just gone, which is sad, but we still have a 2/2. He's thinking about what else he wants to do. Maybe he wants to play another farmhand, maybe he doesn't want to do anything. Okay. So we are going to just go ahead and attack. If he has a trick, which I don't know that he would, I don't know what this deck would play, but I'm happy to trade, you know, to my token for a card. So I think that the attack is pretty free. And now we play a troll. Very happy that we got there on the 3rd green mana. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Legion Angel here. I think that would be a very good card to have in a mid-rangey kind of white, you know, mid-range deck. Okay, he decides Lunarch Veteran is a much better play. Well, I mean, clearly he could just not have the Angel. I don't even know if the Angel is in his deck. But Adeline, though, is another very good card, I would assume, in these types of matchups. Or in these types of decks that are interested in playing these types of matchups. I'm not sure that, you know, this deck is nearly as advantaged against mono green as the more slanted, aggressive white decks. Oh, interesting. So, yeah, I guess that makes sense. If he attacks with a farmhand, he does get to make a token, but I get to eat the farmhand. So he's basically trading the farmhand for a token, and that's probably not worth it. I do have the ability to brawl the troll and kill the Adeline. I'm very interested in that. I can still play the Mammoth after and then just attack. Yep, that's the play. Second Adeline. Okay. And now he probably still doesn't want to attack this turn. He gets in 1 damage, but he's in the... Okay, now he wants to attack. Now he definitely wants to attack. So on my turn, I am swinging in with Troll. Oh my gosh, that was a good draw. Wow. Yep. Yeah, that felt a little dirty. Drawing the second brawl there was, I mean, obviously I'm pretty sure the best draw in my deck. Puts him to 3. The Trampler, I'm pretty sure, is going to do a lot of work here. I've still got a clue. I have a second Haven, but it's not going to be able to attack anytime soon. But Okay. Okay. I mean, that's good. That is good. It's definitely an interesting build of the white deck. I felt pretty good this whole game, but he has apparently sandbagged some of his early stuff to all of a sudden swarm the board pretty much out of nowhere. Pretty sure though he is going to have to trade off the adversary at some point. I don't think I'm swinging with the wolf. I think I am swinging with both the troll and the faceless haven. I would be interested in maybe I do swing with the wolf. Let's see if I swing with the wolf. Yeah, if I swing with the wolf, I force him to block both with both, don't I? Because if he only blocks the 4/3 here, he would only take 4. Yeah, so I have to attack with both. The other option would have been to attack with the Lair of the Hydra, but I'm interested in playing this Cobra. Unfortunately, won't be able to get the troll back this turn. We're both empty-handed. I, however, have a bit of a life advantage. He has a small creature advantage for this turn. Now he has a much larger creature advantage. I do have a troll that will come into play next turn. I also have a Faceless Haven that's threatening to attack, and I have a clue. So we shall see. Interesting. I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to trade here because the last thing I want is for him to next turn find a creature with either 0, 2, or 3 power and be able to, or 4 for that matter, or above, you know, any any power that he does not have or, you know, cannot be added to with the Luminarch Aspirant, and have him gain more life. So I think we are going to do this. Just trade while we can. The ramp's not really doing me any good here. Well, not a lot of good. It's still obviously... I think that is worth taking time off of pressuring him with the Haven. Yeah, especially because that leaves up just enough to be able to either crack the clue. Well, it leaves up 1 extra above the clue, but it does leave up just enough to make the troll end of turn. I think I'm interested in that. I think I'm definitely interested in that. Now the question is, do I attack with the wolf? He definitely won't block with the aspirant, so the question is it worth him being at 4 for me to have 1 less blocker in play? And I think the answer to that is probably yes, because it does make both the tracker and the Faceless Haven and the troll lethal by themselves next turn. And I think that's good for me. Starting to remember to use my keyboard shortcuts now that I know that they exist. Okay, I accept. Gaining life is good for you. Makes none of my stuff lethal on their own. Okay, you're putting it on the summoning sick creature. That means you're interested in just having a blocker that will kill the tracker or the Haven. Okay. Are you getting in with anything this turn? Is it worth it? You're definitely not swinging with the aspirant. So the question is it worth losing a creature to get in 1 damage? Probably not. But if he does attack, is it worth it to me to kill the token or the veteran? He didn't attack, so I guess... my keyboard shortcuts got me, chat. My keyboard shortcuts got me. Um, yeah, that's something I just got overzealous with trying to be cool and use my keyboard shortcuts. I hit enter, which passes priority for the turn unless the opponent does something, and I did not think about making my troll end of turn. That's unfortunate, but not the end of the world. I think we can recover. I'm going to go ahead and crack one of these clues. That is obviously a good draw. What's the best way to use this, though? Honestly, it might not be this turn unless he makes a move. It might be to use the inscription defensively, and then if he doesn't do anything worthwhile, I can still make the troll at the end of his turn, and then putting the the 2+1/+1 counters on the trampler, I think is going to be my best way to go about winning this game. So I think we're just going to say next here. Am I interested in swinging with the tracker and trading it with the fallen? And I think the answer to that is yes, because I don't want him to make the additional token if he attacks. Now it's possible if he blocks. Honestly, if he blocks, it's probably just worth it to pump the tracker and fight the aspirant. Okay, or he could just chump. If he chumps, I think I'm okay with this. I can always decide to fight on his turn after he goes into his attack step before he declares attackers. Yeah, I think I'm okay with him just jumping here and not forcing the issue, not fighting with the aspirant, anything like that. Let's see, do I have to put a stop on his beginning of combat? Okay, I guess I can just do it in response to this. So if I do it in response to this, I do have to both pump and fight with the tracker, and I will be killing the fallen instead of the aspirant, but I think that puts him in a bad enough spot that that's okay. There we go, no attacks. I like it, I like it. Okay. So he goes to 3 here. He does have a play for next turn in the veteran, whatever that flashes back as, the phantom. I do make a troll though if I need to. Oh, interesting. So that enter does not work. It's only the enter on the keyboard, not the enter on a number pad. Remus, how are you tonight? Good to have you, buddy. Okay, he also has a code spell cleric. That is okay. I accept these terms. Alright, we're not going to forget to make our troll this turn, and I'm pretty sure that's going to do it. Good game, opponent. Good game. Your build of mono white was definitely very interesting. I like the farmhand. In theory, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about the rest of the deck. You know, I don't know that the code spell cleric really fits in. I'm not really 100% sure about the Lunark veteran either. However, I think the Lunark could probably be good with Adeline or whatever her name is, making tokens and whatnot. So I don't know, maybe he's got a game plan and he's enacting that. I don't know. Or maybe it's a card availability thing. But either way, I think the takeaway there was, you know, the more I think about it, the more Diligent Farmhand kind of compares pretty favorably to Elvish Visionary, which is more than I gave it credit for before I started thinking about it like that. So maybe it sees play somewhere, I don't know. The deck is doing better tonight, or maybe I'm playing it better tonight. One or the other, but we're off to a 2-0 start. We're going to keep on keeping on. Remus, how did you end up in ladder last night? Did you ever decide to jump back in, or did you just call it quits for the night as well? Two drop into 5-drop, but one of the 2 drops is a Cobra, so we get to excel to Unnatural Growth at least a turn early. If the Cobra survives, and that is a pretty big if. Played a little bit more than dropped out. Right on. So I didn't ask before, but where are you? You know, what tier or whatever are you? On my first month, I got up to Platinum and kind of bumped my head up against Diamond a couple of times, but never crossed the threshold. But since I've discovered that these events, I think I'm more interested in the card collection from the events. I haven't played any. Well, I've played the 2 games just to make sure that I got my reward for the season in gold. But I'm not really interested in doing much ladder right now. You chilling in gold? Right on. Gold seemed like a good spot to be. You know, gold I think was where I actually started playing against the tier 1 decks. I was kind of out of the people that were at that time scrounging like me and playing the starter decks or modifications to the starter decks, things like that, as they were starting off with collections. And I think gold's a good place to be. It's kind of just you know, getting in that more competitive atmosphere. Another Lunarch Ascension, this time off of snow-covered plains. Is this a card that I was going to say the white decks are adopting, but it doesn't look like it. It looks like this is another brew, perhaps. It might be the life gain deck, just like the cleric class deck with the all the creatures that get larger when you gain life. That's a definite possibility here. I don't think that they're very likely to kill my Cobra, but it's still, I'd rather just attack with the 2/2 next turn. Well, actually, it'll be a 3/3 after we pump it, and just keep the Lotus Cobra for next turn. Midweek Magic event, because it's 2 free wares. Now, what is that? What is the midweek Magic event? Brutal Cathar stealing my token. Well, that's just rude, sir. But at least you didn't eat my Cobra, so I guess that's something. You choose a pre-made Commander deck and play with it. Oh, interesting. I like Commander in live and in person, so maybe I'll check that out. I had played one previously. Is that something they do every week? I guess with a name like Midweek Magic, they probably do. I don't always notice him, but on the homepage I saw one for Momir, I think 2 weeks ago maybe. I played in that one. That was a lot of fun. Maybe I'll check out the Commander one. Yeah, this is interesting because I don't think I'm playing the Brawl next turn, even though I will be up to 5 mana. I'm pretty sure I will be playing a Tracker plus Blizzard Brawling. I would like to have more presence on the board when I play the Unnatural Growth. The more I have been considering my choice of playing Huntmaster, I do still like Huntmaster, but as we've seen in previous videos, I might not play it all that well all the time. Not to mention, it tends to lead to some very grindy games. And while I have said previously that I do enjoy playing the mono green matchup in a very grindy way, some of those games have gotten very ridiculous. And as I say this, I'll draw another Huntmaster. But I have kind of started to consider trading the Huntmasters for a couple more Unnatural Growths to at least try that out. Because there have been many more times where I've been playing the games and I find myself saying, wow, if I only draw the unnatural growth, that is definitely lethal here, which probably means I might want to try out more unnatural growths. Not to mention, like I said, unnatural growth I think is a way to steal some games from mono white rather. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on that. That is my goal. So I'm playing a tracker here and I'm fighting the Adelaide. Unfortunately, I cannot attack with the Cobra. Or I guess I could, but I'm probably not going to. Does kind of suck to brawl with a summoning sick creature, but not much to be done about that, I don't suppose. I'm not running out of spells to play anytime soon, and I can't imagine that he won't play spells for the next couple turns, so I'm not too worried about this Cathar. And he's probably not going to swing with it though, and if I am not going to block one of these 1/1s with the Cobra, and I would trade the Cobra for the Cathar, so I think we do attack actually. Okay, and if he didn't trade that turn, then I think I would have started holding it back, because now then it would have been able to eat either of the 1/1s, and I would have been interested in that. But okay. So there are some life-gainy kind of components to this deck, but it's not kind of all-in. It's not built to be all-in like my version of the deck is that I've shown on stream before. So, and that's fine. You know, I don't think that my way is, you know, quote-unquote correct or necessarily the only right way to build that deck. So I can attack with the tracker. It would be a 5/4. It could even be a 6/5 if I wanted it to be. I don't think there's much reason for that though. I would trade it 2-for-1 with any of the two creatures in play. Well, the priest plus any other creature in play. Then my play would probably just be to play another tracker. That's not as mana efficient, but I think it's still fine. I want to keep board presence. I think he is going to trade though, if I had to guess, because the tracker continuing to get 1/1 counters on it, especially being a vigilance creature, is, well, what do I know, right? What do I know? We'll play another one. Okay. The Halo Priest is getting rather large, but I can still trade it 1-for-1. Still getting rather large, but I can still trade it 1-for-1 this turn, unless he puts the counter on it, which he might, honestly, just to make it so I would have to. Yeah. Well, I don't think I'm chumping, obviously, and I don't think I'm trading my creatures 2-for-1, because he's got such a wide board that it would be almost impossible for me to catch up. If I was at 5 lands and I could top deck a land to play Tovolar, I'd be a lot more interested in that. He's also empty-handed now, so it's, you know, not likely he grows the priest too much larger next turn. And I think what I want to try and do is just get the unnatural growth down next turn if I draw a land. That would be pretty amazing. But he is still going to be able to attack around me for a lot of damage. So, yeah, the goal this turn is just to play Unnatural Growth, attack for a lot, but still have 2 blockers. And then the turn after, I think we're still pretty dicey, but we'll survive. And then the turn after, we hope to draw a 6 land for the Tovolar and just, you know, be out of the woods, I think, at that point. I'm happy to see chumping here. I mean, he's at 25, so any creature he chumps with means that it's one less creature he can attack me with. So I'm okay with that. He plays a land, which is great. It is a man land, so that's not as great. I will trade 1 for 1 with one of these. Obviously, I mean, I have no choice. I'm at 8, but I am happy that I waited 1 turn, and the Unnatural Growth has allowed me to trade 1 for 1 instead of 2 for 1. So if I don't draw land, well, if I don't draw land, Blizzard Brawl is like the next best thing, right? So yeah, I think we're just playing Blizzard Brawl, playing Ranger class. The reason I can play Ranger class is because I'm gonna have 1 blocker, whether it be the Wolf from the Ranger class or the Faceless Haven. And getting the Wolf from Ranger's class in play means that I can have both in play at the turn after that if I still don't draw a land. And this will still be a 4/4, which is good enough to block anything that he's got going on right now. So I think we just kill the Aspirant. I mean, the life gaining dudes are annoying, but the Aspirant is more direct pressure to my life total, and I think that's I don't care if he survives a little bit longer, and I don't care if he draws a creature that pumps because he's not able to distribute the counters around as much. So I think just getting the most versatile threat off the board is something I'm interested in. I am going to pump this one up to level 2, just get 2 counters on the tracker. Okay, so he's going to chump. He's going to guarantee himself a play next turn. He's going to guarantee himself at least 1 life gained next turn. Also, the backside of this does gain life on things leaving play. So as he's now forced into chump block mode, those creatures will gain him life on the way out as well. So I definitely respect the block there with the veteran. He gets another Ranger's class. So if I don't... Okay, that was interesting. I guess just went a little high out on the way out the door. I think he still had some grind in him, though. You know, if I wouldn't have hit a 6 land there, the other play is to, well, honestly, with the Unnatural Growth on the field, it might have been better just to Faceless Haven and just smash and force blocks. But the other option was to try and get Ranger's class up to level 3 and see where that got us. But I think we were definitely in good shape by the end of that. But it might have been a little premature from opponent, but I don't know what he's got in his deck. So either way, GG's opponent. So I am just going to continue on. We're going to hit play, but I am interested, Remus, in checking out the weekly, the midweek Magic event. So even if we don't play any of that before the stream ends tonight, I'm definitely going to at least take a look at it. How many choices of commanders do you have to choose from? And are they all from Type 2, or are they from Type 2? Boy, hadn't heard that name in a while. Are they all from Standard, or are they kind of just anything that's available on Arena? It's Legacy? I didn't even think they had Legacy on Arena. How does that work? Oh my, that sounds exciting. Legacy. Huh. Well, I might really have to check that out. That sounds... Oh, Historic. Okay. It's not quite as confusing, but okay, Historic. That's I'm definitely interested in that. Then that gives me a chance to play with some of like the older cards that I may or may not even have seen before. This hand is not great, but you know, the pack leader gets to brawl at least once on turn 3, and that will hopefully bridge us to Chariot. So that's what we're going for. Head Honcho 90. Oh, that's interesting. So we had that game yesterday where I was worried about giving away the fact that my game plan had transitioned to decking the opponent when I was hovering over their graveyard. And I just realized, I was thinking about it, I was hovering over their graveyard and I realized it also showed their, or I was hovering over their library and it also showed their graveyard, their remove from game pile, and their hand. So I can actually hover over their hand and it'll show me their library. So maybe that gives away a little bit less information to do it that way. So maybe I'll keep that in mind in the future. So we have a snow-covered mountain. Immediately, my mind just goes to is it? And yep, that seems to be right. Okay, very good. So, Epiphany combo or dragons? I've seen a lot more of the Epiphany combo in these events. So these brawls are not great. They are actually pretty decent in the dragon-centric deck. It sucks to give them a treasure, and sometimes they can make you pay for it, but it does at least kill a Goldspan dragon on the next turn after they've gotten in for 4. And it's very good at killing off the Smoldering Egg. So I would prefer it if that was the deck he was on, but obviously I have no control over that. So we're just going to still swing for 3 either way. We might get the swing for 3. There we go. And I think we are playing the tracker. I've kind of given you my... Okay, I'm still going to play the tracker just to be mana efficient. Top. Going top is good for him, obviously. Less good for me. The Fading Hope, I think, is also more consistent with the combo-y version, with the Galvanic Iteration or whatever it's called. I think the card disadvantage is harder to recover from in the Dragons version. It is still a tempo-y based deck, and Fading Hope is a very good tempo card, but I think I've seen more, or maybe it's just been the fact that they've drawn more in those matchups. I don't know. They do draw more cards, the combo-y version, so maybe that's the reason I see more. So my options are Chariot or Pack Leader plus Crack the Clue. He's already tapped out for iteration, so I think I'm supposed to just get Chariot into play. However, there is a possibility that if I'm worried about him dividing by 0 my Chariot, I will just attack with the tokens and the tracker instead of activating the Chariot. I don't think I'm likely to do that though, quite honestly, and the reason for that I've stated before. He don't give a damn for his 4 mana. I was gonna say I was still gonna be interested in doing that to deny him the ability to deluge, but he's not going to deluge, so I think I will be charging up the Chariot. It is still weak to Fading Hope, but if he's got a second Fading Hope, I gotta work through it at some point anyways, and I will be able to play it back out without fear of counter spells. Actually, you know what? I wouldn't. Well, yeah, once he Fading Hoped, I would. MTG Assistant shows win rate on the play and on the draw, by the way. I will definitely be checking that out tomorrow then, Remus. Thank you for looking at that for me. You know what? Cancel this. This is tough, because if I play the Pack Leader to better equip, or be able to swing with one of the cats, then if this is a Saw It Coming, I won't be able to play the Chariot back out, but he won't be able to bounce the Chariot if he counters the Pack Leader. So I don't know, I'm kind of hedging here, because now if he bounces the Chariot, I still get to at least attack with one of the cats plus make another. Well, no, he probably bounces it when I activate. He won't wait for me to attack, but I think this does. Actually, once I've gone in on it, I may as well go all the way in, right? And attack with both cats. I don't know. This is a little ambitious, because now I've extended quite a bit into his sweeper next turn if he has it. So this probably was not the best line. I think I got caught up on him bouncing my Chariot without thinking about the fact that next turn was a sweeper turn. But nothing to be done about that now. We would still have the Chariot in play. We would hopefully draw a creature to crew the Chariot. That would be nice. Okay. Oh, so he is the Dragons version. These brawls are going to be somewhat good. So that is exciting. Okay. We are putting him to 8, so there's also the possibility he might just be dead next turn and not be able to even afford to attack with the dragon or even play the dragon. I don't know. He's main phase deluge. He is desperate. Boy, I don't think you're gonna find a one-man answer. Yeah, because not even a fading hope on the tracker saves you. Yep, GG, sir. And sometimes that's what happens with both builds, honestly, the dragon build or the more combo-y version, is that sometimes they just dirtle too much, you know? Okay. Oh, we upgraded to a rare on our random uncommon reward. And we got a Sphere of Annihilation. So this is, I believe, my second one. I believe I opened one of these on stream. And, okay, Remus, yeah. We'll see when you get back, and you'll have to let me know what you're making tonight. But yeah, this sounds like a card that I would have been very interested in playing back in the day. I think I was explaining how I would have been enamored with playing this in some sort of trinket mage package of some nature, as I tried to accrue as much grindy value as possible out of some nonsensical cards like this. But I think this is honestly a really good card that has been overshadowed by Meathook Massacre. So now that I got 2 of them, and I only have 1 Meathook Massacre, maybe if and when I decide to build a Blood in the Snow deck, if I have enough wild cards for the Blood in the Snows, and the rest of the deck, from what I understand, is pretty cheap. It's the Skullport Merchants and the Eye Twitches and all that kind of stuff, uncommons, the draw spell card, whatever the draw card spell is, I don't remember. But yeah, if I ever get in a situation where I have the wild cards for the Blood in the Snows, but would not also be able to afford the Meathook Massacres at the same time, maybe I would build the deck and start out with 1 or 2 of these in place of the Massacres and kind of just see how it went. Because yeah, I am interested in this card. It's kind of almost like a suspend 1 sweeper, but it's also sometimes kind of like a time walk, because if they can't play something of the casting cost above what you set X at, they are decentivized from playing anything else into your sphere. So it's kind of like you fog them for an entire turn from playing stuff and then still sweep their board. So it seems good to me. Almost forgot I had made myself tea, and I was waiting for it to cool down, and I might have waited too long. Let's see. It's not exactly hot anymore, but it's not cool yet, so it is still tasty. Okay, so if we play one of the Mammoths on 2, we can play a Ranger's class on, or if we play one of the Mammoths on 1, we can play a class on 2. We can decide to play a tracker or a tap land on 3, and then still have a 4th land to fit whatever we've drawn. I think this is a keep. Okay, so our opponent has gone to 6 on the draw. And we're playing against blue-white control. Maybe. I don't think blue-white normally plays the snowlands, so either card availability issues or there's something else going on. This could be the white-blue tempo-based deck. I believe they still play the snow base, although I'm not 100% sure why. Why does mono white seem to play the snow plains? They don't actually have any snow cards in the deck, do they? Not that I recall. And it just seems to be a disadvantage. If there's no advantage inherent in your deck, it seems like a disadvantage to play the Snowlands because in the mirror, you're weak to the Redains of your opponent. So yeah, I'm not 100% sure, now that I'm thinking about it, why Mono White normally plays the Snowlands. If somebody could let me know if there's a reason for that. Otherwise, I don't really understand it. So what are we doing? I think we're playing the other Mammoth and leveling up Ranger's class. No, because we don't have anything to do on 4. That's not right. We should play the Forest plus Tracker, and then next turn we could play second Tracker plus Tap Land. Because he can sweep us next turn, and we want to follow up to that. And that is all fine with me. Sunset Revelry. So he gained life and creatures, but he did not draw a card. So not great for me, but not terrible either. So I think I am just interested here in leveling up the Rangers class and playing the Mammoth as a land. And the reason for that is I don't want him to just be able to double block and kill the Rangers class and leave me with just one creature in play. I would like to give him enough to incentivize him to Wrath next turn, and then be able to just drop Wrenn and have the Tree Folk after the Wrath turn. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. So if he's planning on Wrath, then he probably just double jumps here. Okay. Nothing. Interesting. So he cannot do the thing that blows up all my stuff next turn, but he can the turn after. This could definitely just be a Saw It Coming foretold, so I'm not necessarily interested in ramming a Wrenn into that, but I also don't want to commit too much more in case that is a Wrath, or he could next turn just tap out for a Wrath that's not foretold. But I'm also not interested too much in Ranger's class going up to level 3, so I don't like any of my options, chat, so what do I do in that situation? I think I just play the other tracker and leave enough up to crack the clue, honestly. Let's go ahead and get in. I think we are going to put the other counter on the tracker, even though if he bounces it, it's 1 less damage. Well, technically 2 less damage, right? Maybe it is the wolf again for 1 more turn. But if he is going to play a Divide by 0, I'd much rather him bounce my tracker than the token so that I get the card back to hand and I get the clue on the way down. Yeah, I am going to place the counter on the tracker. Okay, so I think I just stick to the game plan here, just tracker plus. I am going to play the land first in case for some reason he wanted to burn double Jawari Disruption. Honestly, if he wanted to burn double just Jawari Disruption, I should have probably let him, but at least I thought about it. Just grab Triscuits and cheese. Okay, well, that counts as food. Well, I guess it doesn't count as making food. That's fair. I was about to say it's still food, right? But yeah, not necessarily the preparation. Okay, so I didn't give him anything juicy enough, so he does get to Deluge. Fair enough. Well, he's already to quad white. let's see. This is Sunset Revelry. Is the other one Revelry as well? I keep wanting to say it's called Destructive Revelry. Is that right? Are both of the cards Revelries? I don't like him having another one of those, but there's not really much I can do about it, so I guess I accept. I am going to crack one of these, at least. I'm also pretty interested in keeping enough mana open that if he does play the Destructive Revelry next turn, that I'm able to crack it as well. I do like the Faceless Haven, so that means I will be able to apply pressure next turn. Now the question is it worth it for me to kill one of the tokens in order to get through more damage this turn? I think the answer to that is yes. I'm not really sure when else I'm going to use this Blizzard Brawl. I'm also not sure what else I'm doing this turn. It's going to suck. Well, let's see. If I don't Blizzard Brawl, I will have enough to level this up to level 3, but still crack the clue if you're Revelries. It would suck to waste the 4 mana on the Rangers class if that's his plan for next turn, but I don't have anything else I'd want to do this turn, so I think that's still fine. Yeah, I definitely agree, but I think like this is probably the best spot I'm going to find for the Blizzard Brawl, but I think I'm interested in keeping up the mana for the other two things more. Yeah, this turn, well, I'll put it here. If he's still interested in bouncing, I'd still rather have the tracker than the wolf obviously get bounced. So we'll incentivize that as best we can. I do miss out on 1 damage like this, and I understand that. And that might come back to bite me, I don't know. But at least I have a logic and a reasoning for behind why I'm making the decision. And that's really all that matters in the end, right? I'm not one to beg for cards to be banned, but that card literally warps the format and makes blue way too good right now. Yeah, I definitely think it's a hell of a card. It really is. I have not gotten these the sick taste for it in my mouth that I think other people have. It seems like you're self included. You know, if they banned it, I would be fine with that. I think it's definitely a ban-worthy card. It's on power level alone, and it can seem like a uninteractive play pattern. But I think it presents its own challenges. You know, you run, you know, a lot of stuff to set it up, and it can just lead to the last game we played, where the opponent just kind of dirtled around and then just scooped it up on turn 6, where never having really impacted the board, you know. So interesting. So not playing anything again on 6 mana, he still can't Memory Deluge, so I don't think I'm interested in cracking this other clue now, because then if he bounced the token, I'd lose a lot of power on these trackers, and he could bounce plus counter for the Wrenn. So yeah, I don't think I'm interested now in cracking the clue. I am interested in just attacking with the Faceless Haven and applying as much pressure as possible. Oh, now we got action. Oh, he's just Field of Ruining? That seems great for me. I mean, I can put him to 1 this turn if that's all he's got. I mean, yeah, it resolves. I mean, I guess he could still have bounce spells. He could still have Fateful Absence. But yeah, he's got to start having something. I think I am going to play the Troll post-combat too, depending on what he does, because that is something that will, you know, still be able to apply pressure even through the Destructive Revelry. I think now I am going to put a counter on the Wolf. I think it's just too much of a difference. Yeah, like he clearly would have killed the one I put the counter on if I didn't put it on the Wolf. So I accept. I have 2 tokens again. And you take 9, go to 6. And he could still, this could still be a saw it coming. But if he saw it coming as my troll, I played it off the top of my deck and I got rid of the card in his foretold zone, which means that I know for sure it's not an Alrund's Epiphany. That would give me peace of mind. If it is in play, you know, he's got to play around not just having chump blockers now, but he's got to play around having a trampler that can go up to 5 power with a swing. So I am definitely interested in getting this into play, and I think he's pretty incentivized to counter it if he's got it. So I know if it resolves that this is not an Epiphany, yeah, okay, or it is not a Saw coming, and yeah, it definitely flushed it out. Okay. So now we were in a, and there's the Mastery. So Mastery, it's Devastating Mastery. Okay. So Revelry, I was saying Destructive Revelry. I don't know where I got the name of that card from. Is that a card name? Is that just a different card? I don't even know. But, okay. He did get both of my clue tokens in that trade-off, though. So that's not great. But I get to resolve a Wrenn and a Pack Leader. So I believe that to be a fair trade.
We contain fires that must never be unleashed. The will of the woods is made manifest.
So many board wipes in this format, it's hard to keep track. That is indeed true. Okay, I love that you can't divide by 0 tokens. I think that's a very good touch on divide by 0. I think divide by 0 would be insanely strong if it could bounce tokens, because there are a lot of tokens in the format, and the fact that bounce spells are normally tempo plays, but this one also draws you a card, and normally a very specific card out of your sideboard. I think just having that little bit of a balance on divide by 0 of not being able to bounce tokens and not being able to bounce lands is really something that keeps that card from being too good. So respect to, would that be, I guess that would be development for kind of making sure that that card wasn't too good. Drawing 3 is pretty good, I would really like a Manland though, you know? Manland would be good. So the question is, like, obviously I'm going to swing for 3, put him to 3. I'm going to play a Pack Leader here. I don't think I'm interested in just dumping one Wrenn for the other. The reason is, you know, with 2 lethal attackers next turn, he would be incentivized to Wrath again if he could. So I don't think I'm incentivized to play the Wrenn and immediately make a Treefolk that's just probably going to die to a Wrath if he has it. So we're just swinging for 3 here. Notably, the Pack Leader can also get Trample, so Sunset Revelry, Sunset Revelry or Alrund's Epiphany is not as good. I thought for a second that was a win out of the graveyard, and then we had an opponent tap out again to play a Deluge when we had lethal on the board. I was about to get very happy, but playing 1 for 4 is still not great for him. He's obviously digging. He obviously doesn't have an answer in hand, but at least he has 3 mana available, 4 now, for whatever he found. Okay, just a Revelry. I think he's dead once we Brawl plus give this Trample, but we'll see. That would be 4, 5, 6. He obviously could block the 3, and so no, it's not lethal. He would be at 1. He did get to draw a card off that Revelry. That's kind of annoying. Stupid Wrenn drawing me so many cards. Ugh. Okay. Well, that's interesting. I don't mind that at all because I have the second Wrenn. So I'm very happy that he didn't spend that on the Pack Leader. I'm also going to crack this clue.
I have other grooves to tend.
So I like drawing cards, opponent. You don't get to draw all the cards. Okay. Okay, another Pack Leader is, you know, whatever. I'm hopefully going to end the game at some point very soon. I am just going to go ahead and resolve the second Wrenn. The thing that's weak to is another Mastery, but, you know, if that does happen, I do have one additional pack leader to try and follow it up with to close out the game. And any other sweeper, obviously the Rin already being in play is good. I wish that this was worded in such a way I could pump it twice. It does not though. It sets its base power, so he saw it. Okay. Is it one? And now I think I get to play the Old Growth Troll instead of the Rin. Because at the end of my turn I would still be able to sack it to put a troll back into play. So that seems amazing for me. That was a great draw. Yeah, Ramus, I saw that. The problem was that would have been lethal if he had blocked the wolf, but he saw it as well and blocked the 3/2 instead. So even when I pumped, he left him at 1, but he didn't find a way to deal with everything on the board, so we still got there. Okay, 5-0, cruising along. We're gonna keep on keeping on. We did find a good use for the Blizzard Brawl, though. You know, that was the one thing that that we can say about Blizzard Brawl is if you give it long enough, most decks will eventually give you a target. Now, whether it's still good once they give you that target is another question. But even the all-runs decks have to eventually play something to kill you. I have seen the clips of Covert Go Blue playing the deck that only mills you out because it plays the cover up counterspell that keeps shuffling back into your library. So I guess in that deck the Blizzard Brawl is truly dead. Yeah, most of the time if the game goes long enough you'll find something to do with it. Yeah, this hand's not great, but it's got perfect mana, 4 mana including 4 snow including 1 haven is perfect, and I think we'll find something else to do with this mana, and if not, we have the Rangers class to kind of hold us off until we do. Paladin class. So I know I should probably know what this does by now. Okay, so it makes all of my stuff more expensive on his turn. I have to keep that in mind. Actually, I don't really with this deck. I don't play any instance that I need to worry about that. The creatures get you +1/+1, and then the level 3 is pretty strong if he's got a board presence. So I will be trying to trade as aggressively as possible. That's true in most mono white matchups, but already having the Paladin class in play further incentivizes me to do that wherever possible. Okay, so not strictly so interesting. I wonder if he's playing both Cleric class and Paladin class, or if he's decided that even in his life gain centric deck that Paladin class is better, probably to make one large threat and then just double strike it and try and find a way to force it through. That's interesting. Am I interested in Rangers classing, or am I interested in Blizzard Brawling this 1/1? And I don't think so. I think I will find another turn where my mana is less taxed that I will be able to do that. I'm interested in just playing Cobra, and then the question is, would I rather pump the class or play the second class? And I think I'd rather pump the class and just start trying to get in. The life gain deck will normally be able to go over the top of this deck once its engine gets up and running, because even though I have the Brawl here, I don't have a ton of removal, and eventually his synergistic cards will just be outscaling what I can draw, you know, turn for turn. And so I am interested in getting him dead as soon as possible. Okay. A third Rangers class is probably not exactly what we wanted. Am I interested in brawling this turn? I don't think so. I think I can still brawl next turn off the tracker. So I think this turn wants to be... Honestly, I will have 5 mana. Yeah, so 5 mana is going to get me tracker plus the second Rangers class into play. So we are not going to be brawling this turn. I also don't think I'm going to be interested in attacking with the Cobra. But I'm still going to do this pre-combat. Am I? No, I don't have to. I can attack with the wolf first and see what he does. I imagine he's just taking this though. But every turn he continues to let the wolf grow is fine by me. Now what is this guy? I have not seen him in play before that I can recall. Okay, so oh, it's that guy, right? Got it. So he kind of is both the things. He's both parts of the combo, right? But he is limited in both who he, well, he only grows himself, but how big he grows per turn, and he's also limited on when he gains life. I'm assuming that most of these things are clerics, so he's basically a life gainer, but he only grows once per turn. I'm definitely killing something this turn with the Blizzard Brawl. I think I'm killing the priest and one of the clerics. Actually, no, I don't think that I will. I think I will kill the things that are gaining life and try and limit how big the priest gets because of that. Yeah, let's do that. And honestly, let's do it with the Cobra so that I can attack with the Cobra as well this turn because he'll be indestructible. And that way I just get in for more damage. After this game, I think the dog is telling me he wants to go outside again, so we will take a brief pause to be able to do that. Okay, so I'm interested in putting one counter on the Cobra so it can continue to hopefully get in combat, and then I'll just put another one on the tracker since it has vigilance, and as of right now, can still block the priest efficiently, and right now allows it to attack through the priest efficiently as well. Okay. So looking pretty good here, especially because we also have the Faceless Haven available next turn. He can gain some life. Well, not with that card he can't. That was a misplay. He definitely should have done those in the other order. He would have put a counter on all three of the things. Yeah. So good game, opponent. Sorry about that last little play there. I think you could have stayed in at least another turn or two if you had played this in the other order, but I think we had you on the ropes either way. But GG. I am going to pause real quick. I know we're at 6-0, but the dog has been a trooper and he's been patient. So I am going to go run him out real quick and I shall return. We are back now. I always remember to switch the scene back when I get back and never remember to unmute the mic. But at least we didn't let it go as long this time before we realized. So improvement, right? Every little day we get better. We are at our 6-0 match, so we've been sliding through this league pretty easily. We've played some tiered decks and some non-tiered decks. I think we've played pretty well. I'm definitely much happier with my play today than I was yesterday, so hopefully we can just keep rolling through it, but either way we're going to jump right back in. Remus, how is the commander matches going for you? That's interesting. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Opponent has, you know, obviously English characters, but also it looks like Chinese characters. Reasonably sure that's Chinese, but either way, I've never seen that intertwined before like that. Let's see. What does this hand do? Not too much. I think we are going to mulligan this. Okay. Well, if we put back the tracker, I don't want to put back the tracker. What am I talking about? This is a hand we've mulliganed. We don't have any top end to ramp into. I'm just putting the Cobra back. I'm playing a pack leader for sure on turn 2. I might even play another pack leader on turn 3 and try and get a swing in with both depending on the matchup. But yeah, either way, we're definitely putting the Cobra back. Green, red? Yes, okay. Green, red. He mulliganed to 6 as well on the play. Okay. I thought it was 5 for a second. I forgot he had played the Sentinel. He's got a good draw though. He did. Oh, he can still do that in a turn. He just didn't have a play for it, or maybe as an instant. I don't know. The only instant I can think of is play with fire though, and that's only 2 damage. So I'm not worried about running my pack leader into whatever he's got going on. I guess actually he will have 2 mana, right? Because he'll make the treasure off Magda. So this could definitely die, but that would be okay as well. It would mean he sacked the treasure as well as got rid of the cards. So, boy, is this turn 3 dragon here? It is. Oh, and here we are without a Blizzard Brawl. That's unfortunate. This game looks bad for us. So sad, so sad. Yeah, I think we're just going to be too slow, but we are going to keep fighting the good fight. The Sentinel into Magda Draw is very good when you get it. It is very much adding variance to your deck though, right? So sometimes you draw just a Sentinel and it's just meh, and sometimes you just draw a Magda and it's just meh, and then other times you draw them both together and it allows you to do crazy things like have a turn 3 dragon and kill something. So there is all of that going for him. I still think we'd be in somewhat decent shape. Well, never mind. I was going to say if he drew a brawl, but the Chariot pretty much just closed that door. Yeah, this is just not going very well. Is there anything we can do about this? If we pressure them with the Faceless, I mean, we're not winning that race. Still probably the best thing we can do. The other thing we could do is just play a second tracker, but then we're wasting a mana. I think if we attack with the Faceless Cistern and it doesn't trade with anything, we'd be able to Tracker plus Pack Leader next turn. If it does trade with something, we'll still be able to double Pack Leader next turn. Yeah, we're just getting in with Faceless Haven. I don't see us winning this game, but if we could possibly win this game, this is, I think, our only way to do it. Our friend over there is like, what the hell does he think he's doing? Yep. I don't know why I switched the order on that. He was tapped out. He obviously doesn't have any... Well, he could have tapped Magda, right? Yeah. Okay, he's going to tap Magda to crew the Chariot. Okay. I was wondering if that was a mistake. It would have been a mistake if he needed the 3rd mana, but clearly he didn't. It still, I think, was correct to float the mana and just tap Magda. I don't know. It doesn't make a difference. He's winning this game about 7 different ways. I mean, he could just not attack, create enough... Well, he could not attack with the Chariot. He could just swing Goldspan Dragon and the next turn do it again, and he'd be able to search out something with Magda and kill me with that if he wanted to. Like, all the roads lead to victory for him. I guess I'm not blocking. That does put me dead next turn, though. That doesn't make a lot of sense. I really would like to keep this tracker around to swing, but I can't, so I won't. And I'm dead. GG. That was so much damage. He sat on the treasures. I thought he was at least still going to have to swing the dragon. But no, he just killed me dead. Okay. Well, that was a fun game. I've not ever seen Light Up the Night in the Magda Dragon deck. It seems like an interesting touch. I'm assuming he's got some Planeswalkers in there. Probably some Wrens. That's probably it. Maybe Arlen, but probably not. But interesting. It's just Fireball, I guess, either way. Yeah, we weren't able to take that one down, but we just got to win one of the next 2, so hopefully we get there. Back into the fray we go. I don't think we're going to start another event once this one ends, but we might not get off right when the event is over. I am interested in at least signing up for the midweek Magic event and checking out the deck lists, and we might end up playing a couple games of that tonight, just depending on how I'm feeling at that point. I am starting to get tired, and we all know how my how my play is affected by that sometimes, so we'll just keep that in mind and see where we go. This is definitely a keep. It's a little land late. Obviously, once I hit my 4th lane for the Chariot, I'll be much, feel much safer with the hand, but it looks very solid, very solid. So once again, I'm going to ask Remus, I don't know if you were here earlier when I asked, the mono white deck plays the snow mana base the majority of the time, but I don't recall anything in the mono white deck caring about snow. Is there a reason they run the snow mana base? Because my thinking is, if not, it's kind of a disadvantage to run the snow, because in the mirror match, Redain just gets you with your lands coming in and play tapped when it doesn't need to. So there's got to be a reason I'm not thinking of. Because otherwise, why would people do it? But I just don't know what it is. So I am going to play the Pack Leader here. He can portable hole it, and that would be terrible, but you know, it is what it is. and if he's got the familiar as well, no, he's just got double familiar. That tends to tell me that he has either Cathar or Apparition for next turn. Neither one is great for me, but I also can't really do anything about it. Am I interested in swinging with the pack leader? No, I am not. Although I'm fairly confident he's going to remove the pack leader next turn, so why not get in the damages? There's obviously the answer to that would be I'm not racing him realistically, so if I swing with pack leader, he can just remove the 2/2 and then attack in for 6. Whereas the pack leader, you know, being untapped means after he eats it, I would still have a 2/2 to block with. So no attacks. Yep, it's the Cathar. And off the wolf goes. Now, when he swings in, which he will, am I interested in trading with a familiar or a usher? I don't know the answer to this. I think it's got to be a familiar. If he has another way to exile a thing, I feel as though the larger creatures are going to be more taxing than the little 1/1s. Is there a world where I don't block? I think the answer to that is no. Okay, we have Chariot into Rin. Is that good enough in this matchup? I don't know the answer. Well, it's good enough in the matchup sometimes. Is it good enough in this game? I don't know the answer. He had a very good, very aggressive start. 1-drop into double 1-drop into removal spell on a 3-drop that pumped his team. That's a very good start, if I do say so myself. Yep. Now, he's got 2 mana open, so either way, if he wants to, he can usher. I think I'm supposed to double block the 3/3. Remus, do you know the modal double face card, the 2 mana white removal spell that deals damage equal to double the number of creatures you have in play and is a land on the other side? Do you know if that's an instant or a sorcery, if you're around right now? I'm going to use my timeout and see if I think it's a sorcery. Okay. Then I think I am going to block with both. That's the only real removal spell that I see them playing besides the creature-based removal. And I think I'd rather eat the familiar if I could. If he's got a trick here, I think this is the end of the game. Okay. And Fateful Absence. That makes more sense. Maybe I got tunnel vision there. I obviously know that Fateful Absence is a card they run, but it did not come to my mind immediately. And once I thought of the other card, I kind of just focused in on that. We're still going to try this. It's possible Rin is enough to get us out, but I definitely wish I would have blocked the Usher and at least gotten that off the board, given how it turned out, because I am clearly not going to have enough time to crack this clue.
The entire forest is in army.
Yep. So, does he have enough of an advantage that he can afford? Well, it doesn't matter because he's just going to pump his team. I was going to ask if there was enough advantage that he could afford not to attack with the Cathar, or not to play anything, so the Cathar flipped. Obviously, he had better things to do, like pump his team. And I think we're dead to that. Not necessarily this turn. So I'm not going to be able to block the familiar though once he removes that. That familiar is going to be a 5/5. I'm not interested in trading. So I guess I'm just eating the Sentinel. Does he allow me to eat the Sentinel? He doesn't have 2 mana up. So I guess, yeah, I guess I eat the Sentinel. So he can't do that nonsense again next turn. The good news is he doesn't have any flyers. The bad news is, well, I guess the flyers wouldn't matter. I got Ren tokens anyways, so the good news is not necessarily even all that good. I do have enough here that I'm going to have 4 blockers to his 4 creatures. He does have a man land though, so he will get through with something this turn. But I think I'm close to turning the corner here. Definitely going up with Ren before I forget. Okay, another Faceless Haven is good. I don't think he's supposed to trade off his Chariot here, but I would not blame him if he did. Okay. Yeah, I guess that would be very good for me. So maybe I would blame him if he did. So I'm definitely getting another blocker in here. Like I said, we're getting close. We're getting close to turning the corner. Another Usher. It's not the worst thing in the world, but the Usher is good because it does make 2/2s as long as you can keep the adversary alive. Yeah. Okay, so honestly, I don't even think I'm blocking the Usher this turn, which is crazy, but okay. He's decided he had enough. I think that combat was going to go well for me, but he definitely was putting me to the test. And but I think the land drop there, getting the Tree Folk up to a 6/6, so that I wasn't even having to trade one of them off with the familiar or whatever it is, the doggo, the 1-drop. I think it was the final nail in his coffin there. Okay, well, we got there, 7-1. Let's go ahead and claim our prize and see if we get any upgrades. We do not. We are not living the dream of ever getting any mythics off of these, but that's okay. We'll take 2 rares. Can't be complaining. Let's see. Master of the Winds. We got a 1/4 for 4. It was a good run, Remus. I felt good about that one. When Master of Winds enters the battlefield, draw 2 cards and discard a card. Let's make it bigger. There we go. When you cast an instant, sorcery, or wizard, you may have Western. Okay, so I mean, it comes into play. You fancily draw 1 card, right? You're up 1 card. You know, it's a little bit of filtering, but it's plus 1 card. So basically, it's net even once you play it. It replaces itself, and then you get to do the somewhat aggressive. Like, that's just not a good card, right? Yeah, the way they make creatures today, I mean, this would be fine if it was just a 4/4, but that's crazy to say, but I really think that's what it would take for this to be playable. Like, I mean, for this, you know, for a 4-mana spell, I mean, yeah, this is just terrible. I don't know why I'm still talking about this terrible card. Okay, 3 red, so 5 mana total, legendary creature, 7/3. Trample. When it is dealt damage, venture into the dungeon. Oh, that's interesting. There's so many of those cards that it's when they deal damage to a player, venture, and this is set up so well to be that card because it's like 7 power plus it has trample. It's like, I'm gonna get my venture in no matter what, and then they're like, no, you know what? If you just let your opponent hit you for 7, you keep him from venturing in the dungeon. But if you chump block him, well, then he's gonna venture. That seems pretty awkward, to be quite honest with you. I'm not surprised that I've never seen this card before. It sucks that he's a legendary too, because it seems like that this is not going to be great in Commander either. I mean, even if you had ways to ping multiple times in a turn, you'd have to waste time pumping up his power or his toughness as well. You got Wombo comboed by a dungeon deck yesterday and it wasn't even close. Was it the red dungeon spells though, or was it black-white? I've gotten killed by the black-white dungeon deck a few times, and boy, let me tell you, when that deck goes off, it is no joke. I'm like, oh, they're nowhere close to completing a dungeon. Then all of a sudden they venture like 3 times in the turn. I'm like, well, I guess I've lost now, so that's exciting. He copied every step of the dungeon with a white, blue. Oh, white, blue, and black. Okay, okay. Interesting. Okay, well that was fun. I am not going to start a new standard event today, but I am going to check out this midweek magic that Arenas is telling us about. Inspect event decks. Okay, so welcome to midweek magic. Each week try out. Yeah, so this is definitely where I played the Momir a couple weeks ago. Historic Brawl Showcase. Take the Historic Brawl pre-con decks for a spin. See if you find a new favorite. Change decks as often as you like. You can receive a code for a midweek magic promo pack containing 2 cosmetic items. So I was not getting the cosmetic items even when I had earned them. Like, I haven't put any in my Mastery Pass, and I didn't last month either. And I didn't do this for the Momir Vig. And the reason for it was I honestly found the different skins on cards to be annoying. Because when you got one of these, you know, new skins or cosmetics or whatever they're called, it seemed like it defaulted them. And I didn't know what the cards did with their regular art, and I didn't want to have to remember a whole second set of art, or sometimes there's 3 or 4 versions. I did find out there was a setting that you could just turn off all the optional arts on cards. So now that I know that I can do that, I think I will just, you know, redeem the cosmetics that I've earned for the Mastery Pass, and I'll probably do them for this as well. Oh, but this is, I have to actually go into a local store for this. I obviously I can't do that. But I think I still will do the cosmetics and the Mastery Pass, just because maybe, you know, once I get kind of my collection up to speed and my knowledge up to speed on what all the arts look like, maybe I would be interested in at least playing with some of the ones that I have earned. But I don't think I would ever be interested in, you know, I see them all the time in the store for like 3,000 gold, 1,500 gold for all these cosmetics. I'd much rather just play more Magic with my gold, right? Obviously, I think I can pretty much sustain or gain gold on the events. So, you know, if that were the case, I could probably spend more money on cosmetics. But I really feel as though just spending that gold on drafts is just such a for myself, you know, I know some people really value the cosmetics when they play games, and that's fine. But I think for myself, that's not something I'm as interested in. So, but I'd be interested to hear what you guys think. Are you more likely to watch a stream if a streamer, you know, has a whole bunch of neat looking cosmetics and cool effects and or whatever else you can get with these things, or does that just cause you more confusion because you have to know what 3 or 4 different pictures of a card are in order to ensure that you know what the streamer is actually even playing with? That's kind of the side of the spectrum I fall on too, but I'm interested to hear from you guys, so let me know. Like I said, I am not going to play tonight, I don't think, but I am going to go ahead and start the event just to make sure I don't forget about it. And then I am just going to inspect the decks and kind of take a look at them. Okay, so we got a mono black. We got 2 mono. Why would you have 2 mono color decks of the same color? It seems like, and there's another black deck. So you have 3 partially black decks, only 1 blue, 1 white, 1 red, and then 2 green. That seems kind of weighted heavily in favor of some colors. That's interesting. Oh Lord, that's a lot of cards. I'm not going to know what they do. Good. So I have in theory played with this card before, I'm pretty sure, but I don't remember what it does. Okay, so vampires get bigger, whatever gets some stuff, sack a vampire to helix something, got it. And that's the big one, that's the one I remember. You may put a vampire creature card from your hand onto the battlefield, so there's got to be some big vampires we're playing, right? So let's skip over here to the 6 drops. Okay, so yeah, we've got a possible free Necrotal. Okay, very good. The Haunt of Hightower is that the one? No, it's not. Okay, so what does it do? Flying, lifelink 3, defend player discards a card. Whenever card is put in the player's graveyard from anywhere, put a. Okay, that's fine. And then a recursive vampire. Great. Big fat things. I don't think I'm going to read every one of these cards because I don't think you guys are interested in. The content's probably not going to be that interesting, right? As I read through each one of these cards, I'll probably just get kind of a basic concept, an idea of what the deck's trying to do, and then I'll move on. Although that does bring up an interesting question. So, well, I was going to say 2 days from now, but it's tomorrow because it's already after 12. Excuse me, after 12 o'clock. But either way, on the 28th, previews are going to start, and I know there's a ton of content creators, content creators that are going to get a lot more views than me, obviously, are already going to be doing set reviews. But I'd be interested in taking a stab at doing a set review. But the question is that something that you guys would be interested in, me doing, or since you get that from somewhere else, you just are, interested in coming and seeing me play some more standard events with mono green. I definitely will be going over the cards, pouring over the spoiler, but I can kind of keep that to myself if, if it's going to be like when I talk about computer parts and I just get viewers that are just gonna leave me for greener pastures, then I'll just stick in my lane and play some more mono green. But you're going to watch it yourself? Okay, right on. Well, I will, Ramus, since you're one of the 2 viewers in here tonight and you're the only one speaking up, I'm going to default to your judgment, and I will try and make some time to go over the cards on stream and kind of, give my opinions on them. I don't think I'll do a kind of a really structured review of like the cards all together as a complete set. I think I'll do something similar to what I've seen Saffron Olive do, just on a daily basis, kind of review the spoilers that have come out that day and kind of give my opinions on those. That's kind of what I'm thinking of doing with them. Okay, so this is just Vampire Central. Crippling Fear, that's the card that I was worried about out of the green-white deck that we played in the first couple rounds that I thought might have been Elves. That seems like a very good card. I'm surprised this doesn't see more play, especially with how good mono white is. This has got to be just, I mean, turn 4 sweeper that pretty much kills everything mono white has put out has got to be good. Yeah, does anybody know why Crippling Fear doesn't see more play than it does? Is it better to just, like, does the Blood in the Snow deck not have enough room, and is Blood in the Snow just better? Does Blood in the Snow not want additional Wraths, and then just any deck that could play black, it's free pretty much just to add the Snow package and play Blood in the Snow? I guess that's probably why. It is interesting that if you are it's worse than Meat Hook as well. Okay, yeah, that's fair. So now that you've got Blood in the Snow and Meat Hook, there's a lot of competition. It does seem like it would be good. I've seen it in Elves, and man, has it cleaned house in Elves, because it doesn't touch your board at all, right? So you could be any tribe, and that same thing would hold true. you know, I know normally the Goblins deck I've seen is mono red, but could it afford to play some black mana and play this? The Warrior deck that I've seen that we've talked about a little bit is white red, so it probably would not be able to run this card. And I don't know what other tribes there are right now. I think those are the only ones that I've seen on a somewhat consistent basis. So maybe it's not good enough because of that, but if there is some tribal support in the next set, like maybe once vampires is a thing, right? Like werewolves is not interested in this card because they're already red and green, and splashing for a double black card is not the best. But maybe once vampires get some support in Crimson Vow, this would see play in a vampires deck that is not interested in Meat Hook or Blood in the Snow because they're more aggressive and want to kill blockers without killing their stuff. I'd be interested in that. I think I might look into that. Well, depending on what vampires I open, I guess, when Crimson Vow comes out, or what vampires are even in set, but something to think about. Okay, so yeah, vampires, kill spells, and things that care about vampires. Got it. They're in a different order now. They couldn't even keep them in the same order, so I could just click from left to right. Come on, Wizards. Do better. Tiny Bones. This is like a discardy kind of opponent, right? Yes. Discardy kind of general, rather. Okay. So Remus, what deck did you end up playing in the event, and how did it go for you? The red-white one is pretty decent. Okay. I'll take a look at that one next. So it's interesting. This one actually has more top end than the other deck, despite the other deck being able to play some of its larger drops for free because they're vampires. And Tiny Bones has its own built-in win condition. As long as your discard plan is going to plan, you know, Tiny Bones is kind of its own mana sink. So I don't really see the reason for as much top end in this deck as there is. I don't know. I think I'd be less interested in this deck than the other one that we've seen so far. Do not play the green-blue. It is super top-heavy and slow. Okay? Good to know. Let's take a look at this red-white one that you played. Okay, first of all, I've seen this guy see play in the red-white kind of equip deck, but I don't remember exactly what it does. Spirits you control get +1/+1 and have trample and haste. It could be good, and I just got unlucky, but I doubt it. Okay, yep, that's fair. I'll take a look. I'll give you an honest opinion. You know, if I think you're wrong and it looks great, then I'll tell you. But chances are you've probably nailed it. You know, green white. Green white's weird. It's kind of similar to that black deck, to be quite honest. You know, one of the things that I didn't quite mention or fully form out was, you know, the top end is great, but sometimes the discard, you know, it's one of those things, if you draw the cards in the wrong order, if you draw your fatties and then you draw the discard, it's terrible. Whereas if you draw the discard into the fatties, it's probably great. And I think the same thing applies to like a blue-green, what I'm assuming is like a rampy deck. If you draw the fatties and then the ramp, it's terrible. If you draw the ramp and then the fatties, it's probably great. So, I don't know, that's kind of why I tend to steer away from decks like that, especially in higher variance formats where you're playing one-ofs and you're playing a larger deck size. I tend to value kind of consistency and a mana curve more than I do power. I know I drew 4 and 5 drops in like 2 lanes each game, even after a mulligan. Yeah, that's just terrible. That sounds like an awful play experience. Okay, so this is kind of like a similar effect to like what we saw Kaya doing in the game we played against it the other day. Notably, instead of returning it to hand, it returns it to the graveyard. So you have to find some other way to like recur it if that's your plan. But otherwise, you get a token, and the token in this case is larger, right? It's just a copy of the creature instead of the Kaya making the 1/1 flyer, but then returning the creature to the hand. So this seems like a powerful build around card. I like this card as a general for that reason, especially since when the token comes in as a spirit and gets pumped by him as well. So it's actually larger than the original creature. So yeah, you're incentivized to play creatures that you can sacrifice. I like all of that. Incentivized to the familiar because you have the removal off the Ghost Forge. Yeah, this deck looks fun. Like I said, I'm not looking through, reading all the cards that I don't understand what they do, but the ones I do see and understand, this deck has a decided game plan that it's trying to enact. It seems like it's much more aggressive than the other decks that we've seen so far. Oh, interesting. So the Blade Historian, I was talking about this earlier when I was talking about the Warrior deck, because the Warrior deck definitely plays this card, but it is not itself a Warrior. I didn't realize that. It makes sense with the name Historian. I couldn't remember the name. I just knew it was something that gave attacking creatures double strike, and that sounds like a much more warrior-y thing to do than a cleric-y thing to do. So, a little bit surprised to see that this is a cleric, but good to know. Good to know. The warrior deck's still going to play it. It's obviously still very good, probably in the warrior deck, but yeah, this deck seems good. I think of the deck so far, I like this deck. Honestly, I still kind of like the vampire deck as well. I think both of those were much more consistent than the Tiny Bones deck. Let's go ahead and look at the Oko deck. The slow blue-green mid-ranginess. We'll start out looking at the top end here. And then let's see how much ramp we have to get there. Yeah, I think the problem with this deck for me, I mean, there's I guess more rampant too, but even at 3, there's a lot of dudes that are just not quite the largest dudes, but also not really ramping you into your larger dudes. And there's a lot of X spells. I mean, I guess the X spells being modal, they're just trying to add some of that consistency by making sure you can drop something that's as large as you can make it on multiple turns in the game. To make sure you have something to supply you some board presence that could also, if you top deck them later in the game, be just a huge monster. This deck doesn't look terrible. Like I think I like the Sorin deck right now the most, followed by the red green or the red white deck. I do think I like this deck more than I liked the Tiny Bones deck though. For some of the reasons I stated. I think the X spells kind of being modal helps out a lot, whereas I think the Tiny Bones deck, like I was talking about the order of things before, they would just rot in your hand, whereas at least some of these you could get them into play even if they weren't the best. Yeah, that's kind of my ideas on that one. And then the last one is the Stick Fingers here. Old Stick Fingers. I know he's graveyard stuff and land stuff. Maybe no, he's creatures. He's the green blue guy's lands. What does he do? Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal X creature cards. Okay. put all creature cards revealed this way into your graveyard, then put the rest of them on the bottom of your library in a random order. When I was reading this, I was like, is this a combo card? But no, they've done everything they need to ensure that this is not to be used as like a combo enabler to, like, you know, cycle through your whole deck or stack your deck by not having enough creatures in it. Okay, so it's just a play fair card. It's got power and toughness equal to the number of creatures. So this one probably also ramps quite a bit to play big Stick Fingers. It probably has ways to sacrifice and or recur Stick Fingers, and also ways to you know, make use of this one very large creature they're going to be making. Is kind of my guess. The other card being here is this, okay, yeah, I'm assuming this icon, this means it is a companion. So I've never played Brawl. I didn't know you could play companion. So can you play companion in Commander? Like I said, me and my cousin just kind of play casually, and I don't think either of us have a companion with any of our decks. I don't even know if you can do that in Commander. But we don't do it, so I guess that's all that matters. Until he tries to do it. I have no idea. Alright, that's fair. The next time we play, I'll just ask him for like a, you know, a clarification on what we want to do. Because I guess that's one of the cool things about Commander is you get to choose whether or not you follow the rules committee or you just do your own thing. Like, he really is interested in this modified starting life total / mulligan procedure. So I believe in Commander you normally start in 40, but that's in, you know, pods of 4. He likes us to start at 30, and I don't think that's what we would normally start at for a one-on-one match, but I'm fine with that. But then he also does this, he likes doing this partial mulligan, where you get to look at your hand, choose which cards to keep out of that hand, and then put the others back, and then draw that many cards. Which I try very hard not to abuse, but a lot of my decks are very linear. They're built to be very linear, and or to be very good at one thing, and so that's a very powerful effect. And so it's hard to try and find that balance, I guess, between you know, doing the thing that he says he wants to do, and then turning that thing against him and making it less fun. So sometimes I don't take full advantage, depending on the deck. Some decks I definitely need the help, and then others I tend just to mulligan like normal and kind of maybe put 1 or 2 cards back sometimes. But anyways, I don't even know what this companion does. I just know he's a companion. Each non-land card in your starting deck shares a card type. So we are 100% creatures and lands. Got it. Honestly, that's a pretty cool gimmick. I like it. And it makes your cards cost less. This is... Okay. I honestly might like this deck quite a bit. This seems fun. I just want to see what the payoffs are. Obviously, you've got stuff like Stitcher's Supplier. You've got other things that are adding things to the graveyard in addition to what Stick Fingers is doing. So, okay, you got things you can interact with out of the graveyard, more things that mill, things that return from the graveyard. Honestly, this deck looks like a lot of fun. I think when I do this tomorrow, I think I'm going to start out playing this deck and see how it plays out. I like the cogs, you know, kind of decks, and I think this is going to be good at doing that. It's funny to, you know, I said earlier I like consistency, and then I said I like a cogs deck. You know, it seems like a lot of these parts are interchangeable, right? Like, you don't care if you're getting things into the graveyard because of Stitcher's Supplier or because of Mire Triton. You don't really necessarily care if you're bringing back, you know, something off a Null Priest, or you're, you know, returning a Ghoulcaller's Accomplice here, right? So, and especially, you know, since your entire deck is creatures and Old Stick Fingers is basically putting them into the graveyard in mass, this is basically like turning Old Stick Fingers into card draw in that way. Yeah, so I really do think that this is going to be the deck I try out tomorrow. If it falls flat on its face, I think my backup plan is going to be the Sorin deck. And if all else fails, the red-white aggressive deck seems like the most straightforward way to just get in and get my wins and get out of here. If I decide I'm no longer having fun, I want my free rares, and I want to get back to mono green, then I think that's what I will be doing. I will be staying away from the blue-green deck. I will be staying away from the Tiny Bones deck. So yeah, I think that's our plan for tomorrow. I am going to go ahead and call it here. It's a little after 1. We got to get up early tomorrow. The wife's car needs to go into the shop, so I got to take her up, follow her up there, and bring her back to the house after we drop the car off before work. So we're going to wrap. Thank you, Remus, for hanging out as always. I really appreciate you. Not just being here night after night, but also being so active and interactive in the chat. That's really been helpful to me, I think, as I start off this process, is just really getting some feedback from someone in chat and knowing that I'm actually talking to somebody when I'm out here. So I really do appreciate you, and I hope to see you tomorrow, or if not tomorrow, then soon. So good night, good night.